Welcome back to Smokin' Sassy. So today we're going to make cottage pie. Now I know some of you call it shepherd's pie, and that's fine. Technically this is cottage pie because we use ground beef. Shepherd's pie is actually used with lamb, but you know what? I don't care if you call it shepherd's pie. I don't care if you call it cottage pie. We just call it delicious.
That's good. It's got meat and mashed potatoes and cheese.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
all the food groups.
Yeah, and the thing about this, guys, is it's economical to make, and it's an absolute great thing to do for meal prep. So you can make a casserole for tonight, and then you can make some individual casseroles and throw them in the freezer. And then during the work week, you can just throw it in the oven. You don't even have to defrost it, and you have dinner, kind of the ultimate TV dinner. And so really and truly, let's just do it.
Let's get started.
Yeah. All right, you know how oftentimes when you brown your hamburger, it gets to that gray, icky looking mess, sloppy mess?
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. So we're going to show you kind of how to avoid that. What we're going to do is we're going to add about a teaspoon of baking powder. Now make sure it's powder into your hamburger, and you're going to let it sit for about 15 minutes. Now, what it does is it absorbs moisture, and it's going to help to brown our hamburger a lot better. It's going to just give us a better, moister hamburger.
Okay.
And it's not going to be all weird. The other thing I want to talk about why that's sitting for a minute is I want to talk about those of us, I don't want any laughter from the people sitting here. Sometimes we have leftover wine that we're not going to use, right?
Not this house.
I know.
My wife's shaking her head no.
I know, and that's why I said don't laugh, because I know that Jen's probably thinking, yeah, right, Anna Maria, you have leftover wine too. But here's the thing, if you do, like you're not a wine drinker, or you're only using it for cooking, this is my trick as to how to save your wine. Once you use it, you can freeze it. Don't drink it once you freeze it, but it's perfect for cooking. So all I did was I went and I just bought one of these little silicone ice cube trays. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill up each one of the little cubes with my leftover wine, and then I will put this in a baggie, and then I'm just going to put it in the freezer. The really nice thing is now when I need wine to cook with, all I'm going to have to do is I'm just going to pop out a cube or two. I don't have to defrost it, and I just throw it in the pan, and voila, I have wine in for cooking.
Yep.
Like I said, you can't drink it, but it's perfect for cooking.
And I do the same thing for lemons. I'll buy a bunch of lemons at Costco, and I'm not going to use them all. I'll juice them, and I'll put them in ice trays, and then put them in a plastic bag.
Yes, perfect.
That's what a recipe calls for juice. I just go in the freezer and grab.
So, and that's also for tomato paste, right? This is the thing that drives me crazy. In this recipe, you're going to see that you need a couple of teaspoons of tomato paste. But what am I going to do with all of this? And food's way too expensive right now to throw it out.
Yep.
So same thing, right? Just take your tomato paste. I use a smaller silicone mold, but I'm going to add this into my silicone mold. Again, I'm going to pop it in the freezer. Now I have it for cooking. So yeah, you guys, don't waste not, want not, especially with what's happening with food prices right now. So that's a great tip. The other tip I want to share with this, because cottage pie, shepherd's pie, whatever you want to call it, really and truly was meant to be an inexpensive meal to help stretch between paydays. And so if you don't have wine, or you don't like to cook with wine, I made this the other day, and I used a good wine vinegar. This is one of the few times I'm going to tell you this works really well. And so instead of adding a cup of it, I only used a couple of tablespoons into my cottage pie, and this works just as well. So if you want to use red wine vinegar instead of wine, you can do that. So those are my handy dandy tips as to how to kind of stretch your food budget.
Okay.
All right. So now my hamburger though has been sitting with the baking powder, not soda. Sometimes I call it by the wrong name, but it's baking powder. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in my pan that's preheated, medium heat, This is the hard part, right? When you brown hamburger, you want to stir it, stir it, stir it, stir it. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna sear it just like it was a steak, just like it was any kind of piece of meat.
Okay.
So we're gonna put it down and we're gonna let it sit in the pan for about 5 minutes. Then we're gonna flip it and let it sear for about 5 minutes. And then we're gonna start stirring it and add the rest of the ingredients.
So if you're looking for a sear, does that mean you preheat your pan?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to do that and just kind of show you what it will look like as I brown it. So we'll be right back. All right, I'm going to go ahead now and add the hamburger directly to the pan. Don't you love that applause? It's like, yay, Anna Maria's cooking. Hey, I got to get it where I can get it. All right, we're going to go ahead now and just flip this over. I maybe could have had a little bit more of a crust, but you got the idea, right? See how nice and brown that is?
That's flavor.
That's flavor, yeah.
A little flavor nugget.
Okay, we'll give that just a few minutes, and then I will break it up a little bit more, and I'm going to then just add the other ingredients to this. Just a couple of pointers, right? Turn that over, sorry. So my pointers would be, I'm going to add the onions first and let them get a little bit fragrant, and then my garlic. Never add your onions and your garlic at the same time or you end up with burnt garlic. Add either your flour or whatever thickening unit you're going to use, and then just go ahead and stir it up. That's how we get the rich, rich gravy, and then just add the rest of your ingredients and then let it simmer for about, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes. And we're going to show you what it's going to look like here in just a second. All right, so as you can see, what we want with this gravy and meat is we want it really thick.
Okay.
So it cooked about 45 minutes.
Smells really good.
Yeah, and again, you know, this is the nice thing is we start eating with our sense of smell. I'm going to add, if you're using fresh vegetables, trying to get them done out of your refrigerator, you're going to add them already. I'm going to add my frozen vegetables now. Yeah, I know, there's a little bit of ice on them. So it might be a little bit less thick. I don't know what other word to use.
Thinner?
Yeah, thinner. There we go. It's going to be thinner.
Runnier? I don't know.
I'm going to add that now. If you were using your fresh vegetables, you would have used it while it was still on. Oh, thank you. If you're using fresh vegetables, you would have put it in when you put in your onions, especially if you sliced up your carrots.
Okay.
You do want to let this cool before you put them in the pan and put the potatoes on, because otherwise the potatoes are just going to bleed through. I'm adding a little bit of fresh chopped parsley, just for one last pop of flavor, and I'm going to save a lot of this for on top. The first pan, of course, is for us to eat because that's my favorite part of cooking. But the second part is I'm going to make this as a freezer meal. So this is the ultimate make-ahead budget freezer meal. You can put it in one of these nice aluminum foil pans.
Okay.
Put them in the freezer. Take them out of the freezer. When you're ready to eat, turn the oven on to about 350, 375 degrees. Pop it in the oven frozen. Let it sit until it's done, about 45 minutes. Voila, dinner's done. Okay? You can't get a better TV dinner than that.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, and you know what's in it,
Right.
which is way better than some of those processed TV dinners that you make. The last thing is, right, we talk about the ingredients in the description, so you can definitely read about that. The one ingredient that I don't have in the description, because I don't want to scare anybody away, but I do like this Monterey steak seasoning. I love this Monterey steak seasoning, but I didn't put it in the ingredients because I don't want to scare anybody away. If you don't have it, you don't have to go out and buy it, but I'm going to tell you, just like Ben uses all of his hook spices, I use this on a lot of things. I use it in my meatloaf, I use it in cottage pie, I even use it on steak oftentimes. And this is just something that you can buy in the grocery store. But if you don't have it, don't use it, don't stress, don't say, oh, I can't make this cottage pie because I don't have Monterey steak seasoning, right? It's totally optional. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make this pan, and I'm going to let you make the other pan. I'm going to start though, I'm just going to put a good healthy layer of meat and potato, or not potatoes, meat and veggies right here. This is so pretty too because it's so colorful. I love that part. Okay, there you go.
I think Bemo's excited too.
Yeah,
He's thinking he's getting some.
especially because it has his favorite treat in there.
Green beans, yeah.
Green beans. And I'm going to actually reach across real fast while AJ's doing that. The other ingredient that you need is mashed potatoes. I don't care how you make your mashed potatoes. We started out ricing these, and then my ricer went naughty and went rogue on us. So we ended up just mashing them. The one thing I'm going to say is you do want your mashed potatoes though to be flavorful. So that means for me, I added a little sour cream, I added a lot of butter, however you want it, a little salt and pepper. Just make sure that they're yummy. They can be leftover from last night's dinner, however you want it. If you are the creative type, pipe on your potatoes. If you're not the creative type, you can just add the layer. And this is where it's really helpful again if your casserole part is cool, because the potatoes now are going to just nicely sit on top. And then I would add probably a little bit more of this parsley just before it's done. So maybe 5 minutes before, 10 minutes before we're going to eat it. I would add it and then put it back in the oven. Okay, that's
Get in the oven.
yeah. Doesn't that look good?
That look good.
Okay, we'll bake it and we'll show you what it looks like.
All right. How long you say?
About 40-45 minutes. Well, until it's brown and bubbly. So probably more like 30 minutes for that. That one, after it comes out of the freezer, more like 45 minutes. Maybe an hour on that one.
Okay.
You ready to give it a try?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's do it then.
Super little thing.
Yeah. Heard that from that fan over
It's
there?
really good. I always love like Shepard pie. This was great. I could even eat this in the summertime when it's still hot outside.
Yeah, ultimate comfort food. So good. You guys, I really do hope that you like, subscribe, talk to your friends, your family. Tell them about this fun video, YouTube video group that you've...
Better yet, just make it for them and tell them where you got it from.
That's a great idea.
So, you know, there's still, like I said, there's still plenty of time left in winter. We're still getting snow here, so this is a perfect opportunity to make some nice something hearty and warm.
Yeah, and you know, with food prices soaring,
Well,
you can't beat this. So, oh, and I stole your line, but go ahead. Tell them anyway.
oh, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. You know, if you try, let us know what you think.
Yeah, since I stole your line, you should steal mine.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
You do that better than me.
Okay, so we want you to eat, savor, and enjoy.
See you next week.
Bye.